This is gonna be a very overly requested and begged for video, an FAQ video, and I have done these in the past. I will try to find them and link them for you below. They're probably really old because I haven't done them in a very long time, and if I'm being completely honest, I was dreading this like no other because I had a feeling that I knew what most of the questions were gonna be based around, and I was right. I had a lot of questions, a lot of really fun ones too. Over 200 questions. I'd say 150 of them kind of revolved around the same thing. So I am going to answer as many as I can. I'm gonna answer the most asked questions, obviously. I'm shaking, like my stomach is in knots right now, to be honest, just because a lot of these are kind of personal, but I wanna be honest with you guys. I also don't wanna be disrespectful, and I don't really wanna be judged by everyone, which I guess that's kind of, it's bound to happen, right? Let's just jump in. Okay, so I have my iPad and I'm reading all of them from Instagram. So Vix_pun asked, have you gone back to work? What car do you drive? Much love. I've not gone back to work. This was a question that I got a lot. I'm still a stay-at-home mom, and I feel very grateful that I'm still able to do that. I'm so grateful to Stella Dot for the opportunity that I'm able to work from home. Hugely passionate about Stella Dot, and you guys I think know that just from watching some of my videos, and I absolutely love that whole aspect of my life too. So that is what I am doing. As far as the car that I drive, I just traded in, well, I didn't just, probably back in the new year actually, I traded in my 2007 BMW X3. It was, I feel like, on its last leg. Every day I turned my car on, I was getting like engine lights. So I traded in and I got a 2015 Volkswagen Tiguan, which I'm obsessed with. Oceans Blue 5 says, Michelle, I love your videos. Would you ever consider vlogs? I get asked this a lot. And while I would love to vlog, one, it's so time consuming. I tried it, not consistently, but I tried it in the past. It's a lot. Kudos, hands down, to the daily vloggers, because especially those that have children, I don't know how they find the time. Obviously, you guys know I'm very protective about Addison, and this will touch on another question that I got a lot. People asking if I was gonna ever have her in a video or in a picture. My feelings haven't changed about that subject. I don't feel like the internet is a place for children. I would like for her to be able to make her own decisions if she wants to be a part of being online at some point. I don't wanna have to thrust her into that. No judgment on anyone that does share pictures and videos of their kids. Every mom feels differently. Every mom has their own opinions. Just for me personally, I want to shield her from that. You never know who's watching. You don't have control over where the pictures and videos end up. And to me, as a mom, that is just very frightening. So, to touch back on the question, because I don't want to share her online, and because she takes up 99.9% of my day, it would be really hard to vlog. Jasmine Lovenars9 asks, what's the hardest thing about being a mom? And there are so many hard things about being a mom. The first couple things that come to mind, am I doing the right thing? Like, am I disciplining her the right way? And am I teaching her right? I feel a wave of guilt when I discipline her. We just do timeouts with the timer set for 2 minutes. She doesn't go into timeout often, but she's definitely at that age now where she likes to test me. She's learned the word no, and it's really challenging and it's really frustrating, and just getting a little person to listen to you sometimes, that's really challenging. Other challenging things for me as a mom is just selfishly, you don't really have time for yourself. Like, your needs and your wants are completely gone for the most part, and it really just becomes all about your kids, which is great. I embrace that. Obviously, I wanted children, so I would never regret that. Like, I understand it, but there are definitely days where you're like, I just want to shower for 10 minutes without like hearing you cry, or I just want to sleep past 6:30. There's definitely times where you're just like, I just need a break. Like, I just need a timeout. Being a mom is a full-time job. You don't get a break. I film videos when she's napping, and a lot of times I'm like, God, there's like so many other things I could be doing right now. So I think just the adjustment to and it's, you know, it's a continuous adjustment every day. It's just learning that your needs and your priorities kind of have to get set on a back burner, and that's okay. But I think for me, the worry is the hardest thing. I worry when she's not with me. I worry even when she is with me. I worry she's gonna get germs and get sick. You know, now she's like running all the time. I'm always worried she's gonna like fall and really get hurt. Or even when she sleeps at night, like, I literally check her 75 times a night and just make sure that she's still breathing. I just worry all the time, and I think that's super hard. I'm a worrywart to begin with, so add a child to that, it's no bueno. Okay, so a lot of questions are about my relationship with Nick, how I found out, how do I get through the day, how's your relationship now, how are you co-parenting, how do you stay positive? So let's just dive into this right now. How I found out. He came to me when he came home from a business trip and told me he was unhappy and wanted to go stay with his parents for the weekend. And I had been with him for 7 years, and in 7 years, he never uttered those words to me. I thought we had a really good relationship. We didn't fight often. You hear couples breaking up, sometimes you're like, kind of saw that coming, or it was only a matter of time. But when he said that to me, I was just like, oh, okay, you're unhappy, so let's get happy. Like, all right, what do you want to do about it? Like, it was such a curveball to me that I was like, what? Like, I had never heard him say that. We've never been on the verge of breaking up before. We didn't have a roller coaster ride of a relationship. It was a very consistent, happy relationship in my mind. So when he said he wanted to go, stay away for the weekend, I was just like, what? That's when I really started to freak out, because I'm like, who is this person? So obviously the first question that I asked was, is there someone else? And he up, down, and sideways assured me, no, how could you think that? I would never. And I just, in my mind, I'm like, Addie wasn't even 1 yet. I was thinking, like, how do you just walk away from your wife and child of not even 1 year old, like, without wanting to work on it? To hear that you're unhappy, well, okay, that's normal. I think every couple feels that at some points. My parents have been married for over 30 years. I don't think for 1 second that they are happy in their relationship every single day, but you find ways to get happy. So immediately I was just like, okay, what do you want to do? Like, let's go to counseling, or what do I need to do? What am I not doing enough of, or what can I not do? Like, and he was just completely checked out and like, I just want time to myself. I'm not happy, and this is just what I want. So I, obviously as a woman, intuition, I think I kind of knew, but I just asked him and I believed him. And so for 3 weeks, I asked him every single day for 3 weeks, are you sure there's no one else? Are you sure there's nothing you want to tell me? And for 3 weeks, he lied to my face and told me that there was nothing. And I just couldn't wrap my head around it, because I'm like, who wants to be unhappy and not try to fix it? After 3 weeks, I asked him one more time, and he said yes, he did. And that's how I found out. From then on, he was very honest with me about what had happened, what had been happening, and that, for me, I was past the point of no return. I was always that girl, and I feel like we all are when you're not in the situation, judgmental, if you will. I would hear about people cheating, and I would think like, well, if they stay, they're pathetic, and they are desperate, and they're not strong enough, and they need to leave. But I can honestly tell you that having lived through it, it is so much harder than just walking away. When you have a family, when you have financial money together, when you own a house, like, it's not that easy. And had he just done it once with some random person, I honestly think I would have chosen to stay and work on it and see if it would work. But given the amount of time and the amount of lies, and just the fact that I had no memories with him that at one point were really great memories that were not associated with someone else being involved, that to me is just something I knew personally I could never get over. It was something that I knew I would never be able to let go. I would never be able to trust him again. And I just didn't want to live my life, insecure and worrying all the time. Like, that's not someone I would want to be with. Someone that was capable of doing that. I deserve better than that. And so for me, like, moving on, like, I didn't have any other choice. It wasn't easy. It wasn't like one day I was just like, I am over this. Like, it was hard. It was a struggle. I just chose to be happy and make the best out of what life gave me. It was a really hard time, but I'm also very grateful because I learned a lot about myself, and I've made changes myself. If I wouldn't be where I am now had that not happened to me. So in a weird, sick, twisted way, I'm kind of happy that I went through it, because after you go through something like that, you come out of it okay, it's so empowering and it makes you feel like you could tackle anything. Another question I got asked is about co-parenting with Nick and my relationship with him, and it's going really well. We are very civil. I wouldn't say that we're friends, but we're civil. We talk only about Addie. He does see Addie as a big part of her life, and we're co-parenting very nicely. And I just hope that it continues to stay that way. Fingers crossed. So Tony_Beavers asks, how are you coping as a single mom? And I'm doing really well now. In the beginning, it was so hard. It was so hard because not only when you're a stay-at-home mom, you don't have a lot of time for yourself, but when you're a single stay-at-home mom, it is different. You know, I was used to a certain routine with Nick. I was used to him getting up with Addie in the morning and then coming home at lunch and being with her, giving me a break to run out or do something for myself. And then after work, you know, he was home at night, so we shared in the responsibility. I still had a lot of time to myself. Once everything happened, it was like, I have no time to myself. Like, I'm getting up with her, I'm on all day long, I'm doing the bedtime routine, I'm giving her a bath, I'm putting her to bed, I'm up again at 6 the next morning. So that, it was a struggle. I would say like a good 2 months, I was crying all the time. My mom, I would call my mom, like drop of a hat, I would just be like, I just need a minute. It was really hard. After a couple months, we got our mojo down, and I understood that this is my new role and you don't really have any other choice but to just keep moving. So I'm coping a lot better now. It's like, I feel like it's second nature now, but in the beginning it was definitely a challenge, and I think it's just something that happens over time. I don't think that it's like instant. I don't think everyone's just like thrown into it and like making the best of it. I think some people could, but for me, like, I just definitely needed time to adapt to the new changes. I love this question. Helen H.J. Manovic asks, if you could go back in time, what's one thing you would change? And not a damn thing. Would I want to live it again? Of course not. But I'm kind of happy that it happened. I've changed as a person, and I don't know, I just wouldn't be where I am now without it. Another question that I got was if I ever want to get married again or have kids, or if my feelings on love and marriage has changed. And it honestly hasn't. I don't view marriage any differently. My parents are still happily married, so that's all I need to know, that it is possible, and it's something that I want. It's something that I've always wanted. I did for a little while feel bitter about men in general, but I don't feel bitter about love and marriage, and I believe in it. I believe that it's possible. I believe that it can be a forever thing. I definitely want more kids. It's always been my dream to be a mom. I grew up with 2 brothers. I have amazing family memories of us all. I'm very close to my brothers, so of course I would want that for Addison. And I just, you know, I look forward to the day that that can all be a possibility again. Okay, so the next burning question everybody had was, if I was dating, am I in a relationship, do I have a boyfriend? To answer that, I am in a relationship. I am extremely happy. It's someone that I've known for a very long time. I really don't want to get into details about it because, as you guys know, I do try to keep some stuff private and personal, but I will just tell you that he inspires me. He has been an incredible support through all of this. I couldn't ask for someone better, honestly. I'm really happy and I'm in a really good place. And yeah, BeachLover888 asks, can you talk about your fitness? What do you do at the gym? How often and how long? This is another question that I got from quite a lot of you. As you probably know if you've been watching my channel for a while, I was always anti the gym. I did not want any part of it. I didn't even own sneakers up until a couple of years ago. And when everything started to go downhill, I lost a lot of weight. And if I'm being honest, I kind of liked how I was starting to look. I never was that thin before. And so I decided that I wanted to maintain it, and I started going to the gym. My boyfriend actually was the one that motivated me to do that. My thing with the gym was I was always very fearful of it. I didn't want to feel like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't want people laughing at me. I tried a couple times. I would go and I would be able to like run for 30 seconds and then die, feel like I was dying. So I just never thought I was capable. But he really pushed me. He went with me. He showed me things to do. And ever since then, I really enjoyed it. I was seeing results, and I've always been a healthy eater, so that was never really an issue. But for the most part, I try to go 3 times a week. If I have the time and I can go, I do go more than 3 times a week, but my goal every week is 3 times a week. I don't go for very long. I'm there for maybe 45 minutes. I do very basic things. I run. I started on the elliptical because I really had no stamina when I first started. I could only do the elliptical. I couldn't even run. Like, I would try to run and I would feel like my chest was going to explode. And I just kind of built it up and built up my stamina. So I did the elliptical for a really long time. And then I switched over to the treadmill and I would, you know, run for a couple minutes and then walk and then run and then walk. And I would start doing that. And then I would always try to beat my time. I was putting in my phone what I was doing each day, like how long it would take me to do the distance. And then I just kind of made it a goal to always progress and do better. I'm doing my first 5K in August, which is really scary, but it's also motivation for me to like get up to the point where I can run the whole race. I usually start my time at the gym on the treadmill. I start running right away and I run, and I'm on there for about a half an hour, and then from there I just do abs. I do classes here and there when it fits into my schedule. The hard thing with that is obviously they have a start time, so I have to be on time, and I'm never really on time. So if I can get to the classes, then I do them. If I can't get to the gym, I'll pop in a DVD or a YouTube video and I'll do stuff at home, but I'm just always trying to stay active. And honestly, it has helped my mental state so much. It feels so good when I do that. It's like such an accomplished feeling for the day, and it makes me happy. My endorphins are like crazy when on the days that I go. I always try to go in the morning because I feel like it's better to just get it out of the way, and then it sets my day really well. But there are times where I just can't get there, and I go at nighttime or on a weekend. 89 asks, how do you manage to stay so positive and make sense of the hurdles? You're so strong, and the person we see on YouTube is truly an inspiration. What is your secret? Well, thank you. I guess for me, I've kind of touched on this. I feel like you choose to be happy. I feel like we choose to be happy. I could easily still be dwelling on the situation that I came out of. I could still be really sad and be emotional and not want to like move past it and move on. But honestly, I'll be honest, when it first happened, there were times that I would think to myself, like, I'm never gonna smile again. I have no desire to get out of bed. I am not excited about life. And I remember my best friend Colette, she was amazing. She is amazing. But I remember she said to me one time, I'm gonna give you 2 weeks, and you can have 2 weeks to be as sad as you wanna be and stay in bed and just be pissed and do whatever you need to do for 2 weeks. And after that 2 weeks, we're gonna slowly get you out of it. And it kind of got in my head, and it kind of felt like it allowed me to be sad, and it was okay for me to be sad. But I don't even think I went the whole 2 weeks. But it kind of put it in my head, and then from there I started to think about it and realize like how much better off I could be on my own, and the fact that I am strong. And I've realized that along the way. Like I think in the beginning you just feel so fragile, and you don't feel like you're good enough, and you just feel like, you know, why me? And you want to play victim. But that can only go on for so long until it really starts affecting you and you just become a miserable person. And I didn't want that to happen. So I think it's all a mental thing. I started to go to church, and I started to go to the gym. YouTube has always been such a fun hobby for me. So I would throw myself into that, and I would get excited about making videos. I could have been having a bad day, but I looked forward to that time where I could talk to you guys about makeup or something exciting, and it was an outlet for me. And I think just having positive outlets, whether that's like going out with your girlfriends or spending an hour at the spa for a massage or painting your nails, like just finding little things that at one point made you really happy and that were really carefree and nothing. I feel like if you just continue to do that and surround yourself with really positive people, and I just kind of kept telling myself that like God has a plan, and He has a bigger plan than what I ever thought, and I don't have any other choice but to just keep moving on. I don't want to be miserable. I really want to be happy. Kind of just like the mental part of it just kind of takes over, and it helps you to just see things in a different light. And eventually you don't feel as sad and you don't feel as down, and you look at things in a different light. I really think time, and it sucks because time is not something that you can fast forward. But I would always kind of think like, where will I be in a year? How will I be feeling in a year? There's no way I could still be feeling like this in a year. And I think it's just a lot of like taking time for yourself and just working on yourself. There are a lot of questions about just being a stay-at-home mom and how do you find time to do things. It's very easy to lose your identity in your kids. It's very easy to use the default of like, oh, I have a newborn and I haven't gotten any sleep and hence my appearance. Just don't lose yourself. Still try to find things even throughout the day that don't take away from your identity. Like for me, going to Starbucks every day, and I know it seems so crazy, but it's like something that I look forward to. I like having my latte every day. It gets us out of the house. It's just something that makes me feel good. It's my cup of coffee for the day, and I like doing that. For some people, it could be taking a bath in the morning, or taking a bath at night, or painting your nails, or watching a YouTube video, or online shopping. Like just find things throughout the day, even if they're little things. There's been so many times, I'm still guilty of it, where I'm like, oh, I want to do this and do that and do this and do that. The house will still be there. The laundry will still be there. If you're feeling overwhelmed and like you're losing yourself, like, relax about the laundry. Leave it for tomorrow. You don't need to clean the dishes out of the sink today. Do it tonight. And in that time that your child is sleeping, do something for yourself. Remembering who I am and just feeling good about myself makes me a better mom, because it makes me happier. It makes me feel good about myself. And our kids need us to be happy. So don't let go of little things. Angela Sabrowski says, what is your money management strategy? You always seem to enjoy frequent vacations and nice purchases. I've always been a big saver, and I think I've touched on this before. I don't believe in debt. I have one credit card that I pay off each month, and I really just use it to get bonus points, like for gas and groceries, or if I know I'm saving up for something and then I end up buying it, I'll put it on my card, but I'll already have the money for it. Debt is suffocating and inhibiting. Mom, I could still hear it in my head. It was like a third and a third and a third. My first paycheck, take a third and spend it however you want to spend it on yourself. Put a third away and use a third for your bills. So that mentality has kind of stayed with me. So I'm very big on saving, and I think the main key is to just don't buy things that you cannot afford. It's pretty simple. Prioritize. If you want to go on vacation, start saving. Even if you can only afford to save $10 a week, it's still something. And when you have a better week or something and you have money that you weren't expecting to have, or you have a birthday and people give you money, like, just put it away and have like a goal in mind of what you want to do with that. This is a good one. Scoozy Dale says, if you could change any personality traits about yourself, what would they be? And she puts in parentheses, I've got a short fuse and I curse too much. I probably could be 100% on board with that. I also have a very short fuse and I curse a lot. My biggest thing, and I think even my ex would agree, I am a big control freak and I like things a certain way, and it's very hard for me to like bend and be. I've learned that about myself through looking back at my relationship. I don't think that that was the cause of everything. Again, like, I think what happened was what he chose to do. I wasn't aware of it as a problem, but since like healing, I've noticed that that is the one thing about myself that I get from my mom. She'd probably kill me for saying that, but it's true. I'm very type A, especially after all of this. I really had to learn how to like be okay with things not going the way I thought that they were gonna go. Also kind of taught me that it's okay to not have all of the answers, and it's still something I'm working on to this day. I think it's something that I'm always gonna be working on, is just being okay with not knowing, or being okay with not being able to control everything. But I definitely think that is my one biggest thing that I'm very aware of, and I think that's the first step. In the past, I was never aware of it. I would deny it if anybody ever said that to me. But I think just owning your flaws and trying to better them is a positive thing for your life. Aya_Coco says, I'm 32 weeks and having a girl. What is your advice to a new mom to be? Congratulations. My advice would to just be drown out all the people that are going to have opinions and tell you what you should be doing. Go with your gut instinct and just enjoy every second, because it goes by super, super fast. Anna_Glyon says, how do you deal with curveballs that life throws your way? I mean, big life-changing items. I think embracing them, and that was hard for me to do. It's still kind of hard for me to do because of the whole control issue that I have. But I think just embracing them and realizing that you can't control everything, and you just have to kind of find a new route. That's not how things were supposed to be. It's okay, and it's not the end of the world if they don't go that way, that you'll find a new path and you'll find a new way, and it might even turn out better than you originally thought. Like, I never, ever, ever thought that I was going to be in this place, but now looking back, like, I can't imagine not being here. Like, I can't imagine where I would be had I not gone through everything. It's really weird. But I remember people would say to me, this is all just a blessing in disguise. And I would be like, how could you say that? Like, that is crazy talk. But now I can honestly say that it's such a blessing that I went through it, because I have learned so much about myself and I've changed a lot about myself. And I just feel like overall, I feel like a better person and I feel like a happier person. So I think just embracing them and accepting them, and just knowing that you can't control everything, and that's okay. Marriage, you've briefly mentioned it was him, but would you be different in retrospect? Thanks. So something that I learned in therapy was that relationships aren't about being right and wrong. And when you have arguments, it's okay and it's completely healthy. It shouldn't matter who's right and wrong. It's just you have to respect each other's opinions on different things. and she said to me, you could both look at a situation and you could see totally different things, but be looking at the same thing, but interpret them and see them completely different. It's just based on kind of like your upbringing and who you are as a person, and it's okay to see them completely different. And I think that's something that I really struggled with in my relationship, and it's something that probably drove him crazy, was because I was so adamant about like having him see what I was saying and not being open to what he was saying. I think that's the one thing that I definitely would have changed about our relationship and moving forward, like that I have changed in my new relationship, is just respecting each other's opinions when they're different, and respecting who they are and that they see things differently, and just like letting it go. I had a hard time with that, and I think that's one thing that I've improved on in this relationship. And looking back, I think it would have made our relationship better. I don't think it would have stopped him from doing what he was doing, but I definitely think it would have made it better. I'm just looking through, and I think I answered a lot of what you guys had asked. If there's anything else that I didn't, feel free to leave it in the comments. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was not as bad as I thought. I just want to thank you guys for your support, because your support and your comments and your emails has been such a light for me and such a positive thing, such a piece of encouragement for me, and I really appreciate that. When I told you guys what was going on in my blog in September, I had such an outpouring, and I have saved every single one of those emails that I've gotten from you guys, and the days that I'm feeling a little blue and gloom, I go through and I read those, so I can't thank you enough for that, and just for being here and supporting my channel, and for allowing me to just do what I'm doing and not feel the pressure of like making this a job, because I feel like for me it's stayed really authentic and true, and why I started YouTube in the beginning. And I'm just really grateful that I've had so many of you guys stick around throughout the years, and so many new subscribers, and I'm just really happy. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. My most favorite of the entire collection are these beautiful crescent ear jackets, and I have them on in silver, and I also